We're ready for business then. An 18-lap race when 5 red lights go on. They're ready for business. When the lights go out, the race will be go any second now. And a very good start in the background there from Max Goetz, who darts out of 1 or 2 slower starters, but it's Lewis Hamilton who leads down towards Sandevot, with tucking in behind him his teammate Adrian Sutil as they climb then uphill for the first time. Hamilton has done it then from pole position into the lead of the race. Second as they climb uphill is Sutil, and then third and fourth going through Loïc Duval just ahead of James Rossiter. Climbing up towards Casino Square for the first time, the 2 ASM F3 cars then of Lewis Hamilton and Adrian Sutil holding sway at the moment, and possibly just inching away a little bit as they turn right then and now head down towards the hairpin. Pitboard to go out. Lewis Hamilton comes across the line then. This the first of the 2 races this weekend at Monaco. It's the shorter of the 2. It's a longer 26-lapper later in the weekend. Hamilton leading, Sutil second, and that gap is widening all the time. Loïc Duval third, fourth is Rossiter, fifth is Franck Pereira, in sixth is Fabio Carboni, seventh is De Grassi, eighth is Goetz, ninth is Morrow, 10th over the line Paul di Resta, 11th is Antonucci, and 12th is Alejandro Nunez. Almost out on his own now. 14 more laps to run, and he's managed to break the opposition. Adrian Sutil is but a distant memory, really, as far as Hamilton is concerned. It's a pretty wide gap between the 2 of them now. The order getting a little bit strung out. Very rarely do we see that in F3 Euroseries. We've had some great racing so far this year. There's a good battle though in midfield here as the cars are about to turn their way out of La Rascasse and then accelerate up across the line past the new pit entry. And somebody here in replay with a problem, thumping the curb and then into the barrier is Thomas Holzer, who's broken the front right suspension, and that clearly a retire. Green flag is waved once again. We're back under racing conditions. Lewis Hamilton then, with everybody having bunched up behind him while we had the safety car out, comes through Sandevot, and then Adrian Sutil up behind him. And this is going to be a real test of Hamilton now, with only 9 more laps to run to see whether or not he can get away. It's Hamilton leading, Sutil is second. The gap between them is less than ever before. In third and fourth places, Loïc Duval still just fending off his teammate James Rossiter. Down to the hairpin they come, turn right. Very undulating part of the circuit, this bumpier than anywhere else, and then as they come down towards the Lowe's hairpin, the gap coming down a fraction under braking. Adrian Sutil then given this second chance, if you like it, taking the battle to his teammate, and he does not intend to waste it. But even though we've had a safety car situation and everybody bunched up, the 2 ASM drivers have easily scampered away once again, and so Duval may be there in third, but it's a pretty distant third, a rather frustrating third. The tunnel through the chicane comes Lewis Hamilton. Now Adrian Sutil has just done the best lap of the race, a 1:28.5, and so Sutil has not given up yet. He's doing his level best to get back onto terms with his teammate. It could be too little too late. We'll have to wait and see. Lewis Hamilton leads. If he has backed off his pace a little, it may be that he has enough in hand just to edge away if needs be. He's got a big enough gap at the moment, of course, but can Adrian Sutil do anything about him? We'll wait and see. Up towards the end of another lap comes Lewis Hamilton, then blasts up across the start and finish line. The Mercedes engine Dallara comes past the pits. Fabio Carboni coming towards us. There's Lucas Di Grassi ahead of Paul di Resta, and then next man going through is Richard Antonucci, the American driver, number 19. Lewis Hamilton has got something up his sleeve. Adrian Sutil does the best lap of the race, and Lewis Hamilton goes a little bit quicker just to remind him who's boss here. Hamilton then looking ever more secure up front. Richard Antonucci goes through, having been the winner of the Korean F3 Super Prix a few years ago, raced in the British Championship in Formula 3 and indeed in Formula Renault prior to that. Hamilton, Sutil, Duval, Rossiter, Pereira, Carboni. That's the top 6. We're on lap 16 and it's an 18-lap race. A 5th win out of 7 races. Looks as though it's going to go the way of Lewis Hamilton, and but for a technical infringement that caused him to be excluded from the first race at Spa, he would have been able to be beaten only once, not twice in the championship. Rossiter and Sutil, the other drivers, to have been on the top step of the podium this year. And Adrian Sutil, though, has managed to bring the gap down a little by dint of doing the best lap of the race here. The checkered flag is at the ready, and a 5th win in 7 rounds of F3 Euroseries goes to Lewis Hamilton. And these perhaps the races they want to win more than any others. Lewis Hamilton victorious then. Adrian Sutil comes home in 2nd place. Some way back for 3rd is going to be Loïc Duval, and then James Rossiter to take 4th position. There's the top 10. Hamilton, Sutil, Duval, Rossiter, Pereira, Carboni, De Grassi, Di Resta, Antonucci and Nunez. A very international top 10 as well, with a Brit at the head of the field. Then behind them, coming home in 11th place, is the Dutchman Guido van der Garde. And then behind him in 12th, fellow countryman Ross Zaltzman. The race will be go! Good start by Hamilton then. Blast away. Sutil tucks in behind him. Then Duval from Pereira gets the jump on James Rossiter. Down towards Sandoval for the first time. Hamilton touching the curve. The car almost a little sideways, but Hamilton is back on the power and he leads, pulling away a little from Sutil as they go uphill for the first time. Then Duval, then Pereira, then Rossiter, then Carboni. That's the top six, so they head towards Casino Square for the first time. And it's the same top three in exactly the same order as we had in the first race of the weekend. In fourth place is from Pereira, then James Rossiter fifth, and sixth, the black car, the yellow helmeted driver. That is Fabio Carboni as they come uphill. Lewis Hamilton, though, absolutely dominant, very, very successful in his youth in karts. Moved into the British Formula Renault Championship in 2002, finished third in that championship, fifth in the Euro Cup as well that year. Won in the British Formula Renault Championship in 2003. Last year was fifth in this series, but did win the Bahrain Super Prix, and there Carboni coming under pressure. One of the Nano Motorsport cars having a look to try to get past him as they came down towards the hairpin then. Hamilton then comes up, crosses the line, and now makes his way down towards Sandoval once again. Adrian Sutil still chasing after him in that second place. Then third is Loic Duval. In fourth place, Franck Pereira. Fifth is James Rossiter. And coming through in sixth is Fabio Carboni. Di Grassi, Di Ressa, Antonucci, Morrow. Then Goetz, then Nunez is the top 12 at the moment. Granted, oh, well, there is one driver almost getting it wrong. That was Carboni bouncing over the curb, and up the inside of him, there goes Lucas Di Grassi. Carboni misses out the chicane and keeps the place. I was about to say, we haven't had that many people clattering over curbs or into barriers. Well, Carboni very nearly dropped the plot there. He did come clattering over the curb out of the swimming pool. That delayed him. Up alongside him came Lucas Di Grassi, and one in the barrier, Kohei Hirati. Is this the start of them getting all D-Mob happy? Hirati in the barriers, broken suspension, damaged car, end of race. A replay here of number 22, Hannes Neuhauser, locking up. And in fact, he's probably got a slow punctured tyre there because the rubber looking in a pretty bad way. Massive flat spot on it. Neuhauser making his way down towards that chicane, but I just wonder whether all is well with that tyre. It could be more than just a flat spot. There's contact there. Morrow hits Antonucci, turns him round, drives over the front of him as well to add insult to injury. We're going to get two retirements there. Antonucci with damage to the back of the car and no doubt the front as well. And Guillaume Morrow's suspension will have broken. I just wonder as well what the gap is going to be between the two race-leading teammates. Lewis Hamilton is starting now to come under a real attack from Adrian Sutil. The gap is coming down and down between them. Hamilton not quite as tidy as Sutil there as they came down towards the chicane. We've done 16 laps out of the 26 in this, the 8th round of the Formula 3 Euro Series for 2005. And Adrian Sutil now, really for the first time this year, I think, taking the battle to his teammate. They're nose to tail as they make their way up around the swimming pool, round the back of the pits. Nose to tail as they come out of Sandoval. And for whatever reason, Lewis Hamilton has lost chunks of time, and Adrian Sutil now will be all fired up by this. He's proved to himself, as well as the rest of the world, that he can live on Lewis Hamilton's pace. He's been able to catch him up, and now Sutil looking for a way past, but that is not going to be easy. His best bet probably is to try to pressure Lewis Hamilton into a mistake, and Hamilton does not make many of those. Accelerating their way over the start and finish line, down towards Sandoval. 8 laps to go. Lewis Hamilton leads, Adrian Sutil second, and he goes sideways. Sutil goes off into the barrier. Adrian Sutil, the man in second place, comes to an absolute dead stop there. There is the car. He's slammed up against the barrier. The suspension is broken, so are his chances of a finish in the race. And Adrian Sutil's car motionless by the side of the circuit. Into the tunnel, Hamilton the leader, out of the tunnel, and in the background there's another car in the barrier. That's Sebastian Vettel. Last year's Formula BMW champion is out of the race as well now. Sebastian Vettel into the guardrail. That's his race done. Vettel hasn't really sparkled as much here as he has in other races this year, but Vettel, I'm afraid, is a retirement. Somebody that has made progress over the course of the race, we haven't seen very much of him, but Esteban Guerrieri, who started last on the grid, has got himself up into the top 10. Now, part of that is by other people having problems, either mistakes and dropping out, or having errors that has caused them to lose time. But even so, Guerrieri still had to do a fair bit of overtaking. So the Argentine, who drove last year in the International Formula 3000 Championship, making its way up into the top 10. That's a pretty commendable effort. In front of the stands, in front of the hospitality boxes, round the back of the pits. Victory for the 6th time in 8 races is Lewis Hamilton's. Accelerating up towards the line. Victory in the 2 rounds at Monaco go to Lewis Hamilton in the Formula 3 Euro Series for 2005. Confirmation of the top 4 there. Have a look though, 5th, Fabio Carboni. Well, that's how he crossed the line, but we've had word from the stewards that a 30-second time penalty is applied to him.